Hey, how you doing? Is anybody kind of in the lead for that nickel spot between Luburn and Dante right now? Or has one of them pushed ahead, or?
Really splitting reps, and obviously Dante missed a couple days, so put him back a little bit. But trying to split reps because I want all those guys to play different positions. I want Derek Tyndall to play inside. I want him to be able to play outside. Same with Dante, and those are really the two guys that need to get both. So just mixing and matching a little bit and making sure to kind of monitor how many reps they're getting at each.
How do you feel like Dante's come along so far this camp?
I think he's doing well. I think he's better understanding of the defense. Physically he's ready to play and he's ready to help us. And going in the slot, it's a little bit different. I asked those guys to do a lot in this defense, and I think he's handled it well. And like I said, it'll be a mix and match between a number of guys probably throughout the season.
Jim, when you guys moved Jamerson from corner to safety, what are some of the adjustments that he has had to make, whether it's angles, what he keys in on? You're watching the quarterback now, watching the quarterback, just from corner to safety.
I moved him, right after the season, really. When they came back and we get back in the winter, and I kind of told them, make sure you start taking a look because I think this is what's going to happen. Obviously was going to have him continue to work at both. And he did in the spring, did all that. Not necessarily as much reps as much of individual work and stuff like that. But the biggest difference for him is just learning how to see things from deep. Whether he's in the middle of the field or playing quarters where he's 10, 12 yards deep. Just he had never done that. So that was the biggest adjustment for him. And I thought throughout the spring he made a lot of progress. And you could just see the comfort level to take the next step when he got in the fall camp.
With Jack out now, how much do you anticipate using a fourth inside linebacker? Should you rely more heavily on the first three guys since they played so much?
No, it'll obviously kind of depend on how things work out. Very unfortunate. You feel bad for Jack just because you know how he works and how he prepares and how excited he was for the season. And but yeah, you'll see. It's really who do you trust and how many reps, are you willing to split with those guys?
Jim Garrett talked in the offseason about wanting to become a leader at his position because there weren't any other seniors in that group. Even though Leon's there now, he's still probably one of the more veteran guys. How important is it now that Jack is out that Garrett steps into that leadership role among the linebackers?
I think he's done a great job. Obviously with his play, he's very consistent and he knows what he's doing. He's been around the program, and he knows what the standards are of playing linebacker in this defense. And I think he's done a great job there, and I think he has done a good job of being vocal and trying to help out some of the younger guys and kind of make their learning curve go a little bit faster. I think he's done a great job, but he's done it being him. He hasn't tried to go out of the box and do things that he's not comfortable with.
How much of those two starts helped him last year just understand maybe concepts a little bit more, understand pace of play a little bit more compared to him when he rotated in?
I think the starts were huge for him just from a confidence standpoint. He went in there and we didn't miss a beat and very productive. And not only did he do it, he did it against, I believe it was Michigan, Ohio State, correct? That were his two starts. So I think it speaks. You give him credit for being prepared. Not only being prepared, but going in there and executing. And like I said, you didn't really miss a beat when one of your better defensive players went out.
Jim, obviously you had a lot of punt returns when you were here, and I don't know if you've watched Nick Nelson in practice, but he looks pretty comfortable. And I'm just curious what you think if he's going to be the guy for the job, what he might be able to provide there based on what you've seen.
Very natural catching the ball, which is always the first thing, obviously, and I think he could be special with the ball in his hands. He's got obviously a lot of skill. So looking forward to it, but I think the number one thing is you just see he's got a lot of comfort in being back there and catching it, and I don't think he's going to panic when guys get close to him, and I'm excited to see what he can do this season. I know there's a number of other guys in the competition that I think we have options, which maybe we haven't had as many here in recent years.
A lot of players have kind of raved about what Nick's been able to do at cornerback. What do you feel like is kind of the ceiling for him this year? How good do you think he can be?
Honestly, I think the ceiling is very, very high because just you see him every day he goes out there, just the confidence continues to rise and rise. He came in very good technically. He did a lot of things naturally that you got to spend a lot of time coaching. And just over the last year, just over a year, I mean, you just see how locked in he is every day, his mentality, and he makes receivers play up to his level, or he's going to embarrass them. That's kind of his mentality, which is awesome for a corner. And he works on the little subtleties of his game, and it's not just going in and putting in a day ever, which is fun. I'm excited to watch him play because he's ready. He's ready for that moment, and he's ready to go challenge everybody.
I feel like some of it's just instinctual with him. I feel like that's something that other guys have said, is that he just does things.
Yeah,
it's hard to coach.
I mean, his natural kind of body positions and naturally his instincts on how he moves and where his eyes go on certain things. They said it. You can either find a guy who has that naturally, or you spend a lot of time on it. And he just kind of has that knack for getting in the right body positions and challenging receivers and getting to the top shoulder and different things like that. And you add to that the physical side. I mean, he's a big kid. I mean, he's almost 205 pounds, I think, but he can run. And so he poses a little different challenge when he puts his hands on guys and goes up there and presses. So it's fun to watch him work, and it's been a great battle all camp with our receivers. Even though they're young, they're very aggressive. They know how to run. They get off the ball, and just to see kind of the chess match with some of our older corners going back and forth each and every day.
Has Arrington Farrar progressed enough since spring that you feel like maybe he could work his way into the rotation at inside linebacker?
I think it's possible. He's done a great job of making that transition. Not an easy transition, moving to linebacker from safety, but I think mentally he approached it the right way, and physically he kind of grew into that position. So it's not like he had to change a whole lot once you moved him. It's just a comfort level. There's things that you can just tell. Sometimes he feels great and sees it and is very reactive, and then there's other times where it's like, that didn't quite look right, and kind of gets hung up. So it's just continuing for him to push mentally, and every rep for him is great because it's a learning experience, and he's handled it well.
Jim, you've been in Jack's shoes before. Is there a grieving process you go through that everybody who's injured, especially losing the rest of your season, that you go through that you're familiar with?
Yeah, there's no question. I think the first step is you hate everything about football for a little while, and that's natural. That's what's supposed to happen. But then you get back out there and you realize what the plan is to get back, and you just put your head down and work. It's extremely frustrating, one, because you're not out there with your teammates that you spent the entire offseason, the entire winter preparing for this season, and you know that the role that you're going to be in is not anywhere what you saw it. And obviously that hurts, and I think you got to rely on the people close to you and rely on your teammates to help you through the first part of the process, and then after that the competitor kicks in, and you're trying to, whatever they tell you you're supposed to be here at 2 weeks or here at 4 weeks, you're trying to beat it. And it's that process of staying focused and staying driven, but also being smart and listening to the trainers.